Hello everyone, welcome to PRV solution. So today in this video we will discuss about D to A and A to D converters. These are very important topics. So what is ADC? ADC means analog to digital converter. ADC is a circuit which converts an analog signal into corresponding digital signal, while DAC is digital to analog converter which converts a digital signal into a corresponding analog signals. Examples: in daily life we have an example of ADC and DAC which we are using is a mobile phone. Here the streams, that is audio or video streams, what we are using here is digital in nature, and this video or audio streams is converted into corresponding analog signal using DAC, means audio signals. So this digital stream is converted by a circuit which is known as DAC to our audio signal which we hear from the phone. Or the second example is when we talk through a phone, our speech signal is converted into corresponding digital signal. Our speech signal is analog in nature and it is converted into digital signal by a circuit which is known as ADC, which is present inside our telephone. Then that digital signal is modulated and transmitted through antenna. At the receiver end, the same signal is or the reverse process of the same signal is carried out. That is, this digital signal is converted into analog signal at in the mobile. This circuit also present in the mobile, which is digital to analog conversion, and through this our digital signal is converted into corresponding analog signal which through audio amplifier we hear. Then question arises, why we use ADC and DAC? So what are the advantage and disadvantage of analog to digital signals? So we have analog signal. Basically these all are analog signal. Temperature, pressure, sound and velocity, these all are analog signals. So these signals are converted into corresponding electrical signal by using a circuit or using a circuit known as transducer. But this electrical signal is also of analog in nature. So analog signals have some disadvantages, like they are susceptible to noise, they are difficult to process in analog domain, and these are difficult to store in analog domain. While digital signals, we have some advantages. These are less susceptible to noise, easy to process in digital domain, easy to store in digital domain. So that's why we will convert our signal or analog signal into digital signal for processing and storing purpose, and then we can reconstruct the original analog signal using this DAC. So this is the overall diagram for ADC and DAC. We have analog signal which can be pressure, temperature, velocity. This is converted into corresponding digital signal, and that digital signals we can easily manipulate, process or store in digital form. And if we need, then we can reconstruct this original signal by using a circuit DAC, which reconstruct the same input at the output. So this is our analog signal. Analog signal is always continuous in time and continuous in amplitude. So suppose we have this signal varying from 0 to 10 volt. So it can take infinite number of values from 0 to 10 volt. So ideally the resolution of this analog signal is infinite. So now we will see how an analog signal is converted into corresponding digital signal. These are three are the basic steps that are used for conversion of analog to digital. First is the sampling. The analog signal is sampled at different discrete instant of time, that is t1, t2, t3, t4. So we are sampling here this signal at different instants of time. After sampling, we will quantize this signal. This sample signal is quantized, means we will quantization means the process of assigning a sample signal a value from the discrete set of values. So we will assign this sample signal a discrete set of values. Here the quantization levels are 16. We are using here 16 different quantization level, and the sampled signal is assigned a nearer value to the quantization value or quantized level value. Then in the last step we will encode the quantized signal using some binary encoding or some other encoding we can use. So we will discuss it in next slide. In this quantization process, a sampled signal is assigned a particular value from the discrete set of values. So as you can see here, the signal is quantized into 16 different levels, and a sampled signal is assigned a nearest value from these 16 levels. The resolution of the ADC decides how the assigned value or the quantized value is close to the actual value. So usually this resolution is defined in the number of bits, and here this bit refers to the number of bits in which the quantized signal is going to get encoded. So basically this resolution defines the minimum change in the input signal which can be detected by the ADC. So for a given ADC, if the resolution is n bits, then in a binary number system the total number of discrete levels which can be defined is equal to the 2 to the power n. That means the input signal will get quantized into 2 to the power n levels. So for example, for a one ADC, if the resolution is 3 bit, then we have total discrete set of values are 8, where the full scale range or we can say that in terms of voltage, this ADC or resolution can be defined as full scale range voltage divided by 2 raised to power number of bits, and we can also define the full scale range as V max minus V min divided by 2 to the power n. Let us say for a 3 bit ADC, the full scale range is 10 volt, then the resolution of ADC is equal to the 10 divided by 2 raised to power 3, which is equal to 1.25 volt. That means the minimum change in the input which can be detected by the ADC is equal to the 1.25 volt. So if the change in the input signal is less than 1.25 volt, then it won't get detected by the given ADC. If the full scale range is changed to from 10 volt to 1 volt, then the resolution is 125 millivolt. So now the minimum change which can be detected by the ADC is equal to 125 millivolt. So in this way, by changing the reference voltage, the minimum detectable voltage can be increased, but at the same time the conversion range of the ADC will also reduce, or we can say conversion rate of the ADC will also reduce. So there is a trade off between reference voltage and this resolution. But if we will increase our bits in which we want to encode our signal from 3 bit to 8 bit, then this minimum change can also be reduced. So, now the minimum change is 39 millivolt. So, this 8 bit ADC will now be able to detect changes of even 39 millivolt. So, in short, by increasing the number of bits, we can increase the resolution. So, this graph shows the transfer function of 3 bit ADC with a full scale range of 1 volt, and this transfer function looks like a staircase. This is a staircase transfer function, and this blue line shows the ideal transfer function of ADC. This blue line has is of ideal transfer function. Ideal transfer function means ADC have infinite resolution. Then your transfer function would look like this blue line. So, for 3 bit ADC, the minimum detectable voltage or the resolution is equal to 0.125 volt, means whenever the input voltage is between 0 to 0.125 volt, means this 0 to 0.125 volt. In that case, it will be considered as 0 volt. This is considered as 0 volt, and the output of ADC changes only when this input goes above to 0.125, then output of this ADC will change. So, due to this quantization process, the error will be introduced in the output of the ADC, and this error is known as the quantization error. So, for a 3 bit ADC with the 1 volt range, the quantization error is equal to the 0.125 volt, or in general, irrespective of the number of bits and the reference voltage, it can be defined in terms of the LSB, this 1 LSB. So, here the quantization error is equal to 1 LSB, because here if you see in the transfer function, each step corresponds to 1 LSB. This is also 1 LSB, this is also 1 LSB. So, here the error is 1 LSB. This quantization error can be reduced by increasing the number of bits. Another method is for reducing this quantization error is, if we will shift our staircase transfer function to the left side, or 1 LSB to 0.5 LSB. So, quantization error here reduced from this 1 LSB to 0.5 LSB, means now if the voltage will get changed from 0.5 volt to above range, then output of ADC will change. So, in this way we can change we can reduce the quantization error by shifting our this staircase transfer function curve to the left side. This is all about the quantization process. Now, we will discuss sampling. In the sampling, we will sample our analog signal at different instant of times T1, T2, T3, T4, and for better reconstruction at the output, the sampling is done by this formula, means sampling frequency must be equal to or greater than twice the maximum frequency signal present in the signal, input signal. So, this is known as Nyquist sampling theorem. So, if we will sample our signal with this sampling frequency, we can reconstruct original signal at the output with accuracy. Aliasing. Aliasing is the effect which is known as that the reconstructed signal have low frequency with respect to input signal frequency. So, aliasing will occur if we will sample the signal a frequency less than equal to twice of maximum frequency of the original signal. So, to remove this aliasing, we have to sample our signal greater than or equal to twice of f maximum or Nyquist sampling theorem. Suppose we will have to reconstruct the square wave at the output, and we will sample our this square wave at a frequency greater than equals to twice of f naught, but aliasing will occur in this case. Why this aliasing is occur? Because of we know that square wave is made up of many harmonics of sinusoidal frequency components present in the square wave. So, here the aliasing will occur. So, to remove this aliasing, we will use anti-aliasing filter. Anti-aliasing filter is nothing, it is just a low pass filter which has cutoff frequency of fs by 2. This low pass filter will filter out all the higher frequency component from this square wave, and in this way the higher frequency components are eliminated, and we will get accurate waveform or frequency at the output. Next is sample and hold circuit. So, what is the use of this sample and hold circuit? When we sample our signal, we have to hold the sampled value until the next sample will be taken out. So, this is the function of sample and hold circuit. It will hold the value of that sample until the next sample will taken. So, in next step it will hold the next value until the next sample will hold again. So, this is full process of ADC and DAC. ADC means analog signal will pass through sample and hold circuit, then it will be quantized. After quantization process, then we will do encoding. After encoding, we will get our digital signals. So, this is the analog to digital converter circuit. Next, we will study DAC. What is DAC? We will give digital as the input, and we will get analog signal at the output. So, suppose our digital signal is of 10 bit or 12 bit, then it will reconstruct it better. If it is of 8 bit or 3 bit, then the reconstruction will not be accurate. So, higher the number of bits in the digital signal, better we can reconstruct the analog signal. So, this is the resolution of the DAC. Next parameter is conversion time or settling time. Conversion time or settling time is the time required by the DAC to settle its final value. It will tells us tells the maximum frequency that can be reconstructed at the output, and the last parameter is reference voltage. We have different types of ADC and DAC. So, types of ADCs are present. First is the flash type ADC, second dual slope ADC, successive approximation type ADC, sigma delta ADC. DAC. DAC what we will use binary weighted resistor DAC, R2R ladder type DAC. So, these are different types of ADC and DAC circuits which have their own advantage and disadvantages. So, this is all about the conversion of ADC to DAC or analog to digital and digital to analog conversion. Thanks for watching.